The EC wants to thwart.
The declarations made by our staff were made under threat. Those declarations, as well as others that have gone on in other constituencies, will not be upheld by the Commission.
People who voted know they voted. People who voted waited for the count. And people who voted and waited for the count had the results. Under no circumstance should any hanky go on and alter the results of the will of the people. That is very, very dangerous. The best thing to do as a leader is to rule with authority and not power. I'm the president, I'm the vice, God is going to confuse all of you wise people with the foolish things of this earth. The foolish things are the things you don't think about. If you say here, you want to use power to exert it. As for NPP, Nana-Addo, and your vice, I hope you have learned this lesson. And after Mahama, where Dibida, and you come again. I hope you also learned this lesson.
We are for Ken TV, so we are for Ken, we are for truth, justice for all. Nya meje dwa edinya meje so eni akua intriwa ene die ye ware home ukopiem wo Central Region dia NPP chairman chairman Robert Kutin Jr. Ade nyame atone nsa ede afre na amanfo chere se papa no na ne ho mfa ne de eno de obi enim ne so no na expect se obetimi afri mu animanimu ya eti no NPP lose o Lucy no eno so can because na Lucy no heavy eti no se obi eda yare mpaso a wotekora na koma ebetu na ye kan nya net se shedding kese enko enfama chairman Robert na busuafo eni NPP amanyokuri nyina Central Region for mon shedding pa mon kafra why na ye to aso dia EC U10 na watene sisi ane de anu eden because untimi meka nche yen se wa be declare results na afi in 3 or 4 days and a 1 week time wa ba bonten say there be results na me am declare no wrong intino me san so declare bi na we declare bi mu wie ya ase ni nyina so in favor of one party kanya koye se ase emri bi atwam President Nana-Addo Akufo-Addo nsem bia wokan ya wo kire say ade a ontimi handle power emfama John Dramani Mahama so we win election na ase EC U10 na what tennis sisi ano ene President Nana-Addo nsem wokan bi atwam no abobra because the wo kire yi de ase NPP nko na ase results are sisi ano favor mo nko and it is very bad because me sure say NDC for so betna hodin ahwe wo say ya on the 7th of January de Ghana hand when ye be hu say amaga wo ho so amago ho so ye den kopa na yewura KSM enso edin nsem bi abeto abonten a wo kire kwan ye fa so a EC omo hyase eni awie yi omde akwa wie an ge wo pese wo hu bia no yewura KSM aboni nyina tofa ye de eba beso mu ntino yenko na yenko nkotie nsem ni nyina enfambra ye ba ye beto so.
Once upon a time in the very, very recent past, the now soon-to-be former president made an announcement with vim and vigor that he would never hand over. Please, may bow you not to remind us of anything. I'm building a case. Look at what he said. So I just want you to remember, he did say that. Okay, and I think unfortunately, because he's a president and he's on top, because he made those statements, it strengthens the hand of others. And the NPP to also get up and make the same thing with the same vigor. After all, your leader, so they also added their voice to it. Listen to some of them.
So far as I live, me dem in break 8 bia o to me no me say me mfa ma wo mo ne me mfa ma wo mo china. We have a president who now says I would hand over to the next NPP presidential candidate as president of the Republic of Ghana. NPP party ya ba bemwi see ya ba be platform so me the power am NDC esida
we have 1 million ways to win 2024 elections. have 1 million ways to win 2024 elections.
And I particularly like the last one. We have 1 million ways of winning. Anyway, folks, I'm just going to the past for you to think about something. These were some of the very infuriating and scary statements. And of course, when that was going on this very same show, Talk Shop, I actually challenged the Peace Council. And I said, Peace Council, why are you quiet? Why do you sit down to allow such things to go on? To the extent that the chairman of the Peace Council himself called me, he says, KSM, he explained a whole lot of things. And later on, he was on my show as a guest to explain things further to all of you Ghanaians. But what I understood was that when the president and all those other people were making these statements, it's not that the Peace Council was asleep. It's a scarcity. When such statements come from the president, the Peace Council cannot issue a statement say we are against what you are saying. I say, it doesn't look right in Ghana. It doesn't look like in politics. And then just imagine, say, Nana-Addo has said something, and then you go and read the news where say the Peace Council has come. It doesn't look right. It doesn't look even good for the unity of this nation. So he said what they have been doing is that, listen, you're not asleep. We just speak to them personally. Will they know that this does not advance peace? He said, trust me. You name them, all the people, trust me. We call them to order very quietly. I'm sorry I have to say this publicly, but he says, you will all of a sudden just notice that such pronouncements will die down quietly. And I mean, what? You will start noticing that such pronouncements are dying down quietly. He says, KSM, it's not by accident. We are at work.
So you see, a lot of things happen in the country. High tension, suddenly it drops, and then everybody becomes quiet. Nobody is asking questions, how did it happen? But once you see that, you must be mindful of the fact that Peace Council has done a lot of work.
So folks, even though the president has made all these statements that I showed you, didn't you see all of them dying quietly? I don't remember seeing the president on more platforms talking about vehemently, on hand over. He stopped saying it. Something was working. To the point that the elections were done, everything was going on nicely. The reports were coming because nowadays, thanks to technology, WhatsApp, thanks to that online, everything was in public domain being unveiled. And at some point, it was very, very, very clear that the NDC had taken the lead. Very, very clear. People were still holding on. Do you remember? We are in a comfortable lead. Back in those days when that happened and it wasn't so. So people cautiously were watching. And what impressed me most and what alarmed most of Ghanaians is that even before the Electoral Commissioner came out to comment on the results, Vice President Bawumia had come out. He says we have our own way of collating the NPP, NDC. Now we all are equipped to follow this election. And so far from the coalitions, from what our own ones are saying, from what NDC is saying, there is no way that I'm going to beat Mahama. So he came out and he did a very, very, very short but very profound concession. Listen to this.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, following yesterday's presidential and parliamentary elections, Ghanaians at home and abroad have been sitting on tenterhooks awaiting the outcome of the election. Let me say that the data from our own internal collation of the election results indicate that former President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has won the presidential election decisively. The NDC has also won the parliamentary election, even though we await final collation for a number of seats. However, I believe ultimately that these will not change the overall outcome. See John Dramani Mahama to congratulate him as President-elect of the Republic of Ghana. We have conceded defeat like any consummate Democrat would do. I am making this concession speech before the official announcement by the Electoral Commission to avoid further tension and preserve the peace of our country.
Fantastic. He made this concession, and trust me, folks, and I always say, I get hard on Bawumia, I'm always hard on him because of other things, but I'm also intelligent and objective to know that when somebody makes the right move, you commend them. So I commended Bawumia severally. It's right on this YouTube channel. You can find it, where I commended him, because those were very scary times. Considering what the president has said, what other members have said, and all the kinds of things, there were very scary times for Ghana. I kid you not. So when Bawumia came to concede, people were like, phew, phew. What an air of relief. That concession, what an air of relief. Even before the ANC came to speak. You know, he did that. And folks, it is alleged. Let me say alleged though, because I don't know for a fact. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but it is alleged. And from the sources that I heard from, they were telling me that even the concession was on the blind side of Jubilee House. Dear me, I don't know. But whether it was on the blind side of them or the foresight of them, Bawumia, you did well with that concession, and it saved Ghana a lot of tension and needless speculation and rumor on everything, right? So Bawumia, I'll commend you one more time for that concession speech. It helped. So let's say a few days later, then Jimenez actually came to actually bring the coalition results in Nema and say everything, and ended up proclaiming Mahama as the president-elect of Ghana. And I liked how she ended everything. What can I say? Jimenez, if you were listening, do you remember what you said? I say, it is finished.
I have the singular honor as a returning officer of the 2024 presidential election to declare His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as the winner of the 2024 presidential election and the president-elect of the Republic of Ghana with a total percentage of 56.55%. Congratulations, sir. It is finished. Thank you very much.
It is finished. So, that once again Ghana has proved, Sir Charlie, we know the democratic process, we have believed in it, it was beautiful. And even after that, incoming Mahama met outgoing Nana-Addo at the Jubilee House, pleasantries and everything, and all Ghanaians said, we have done it again. We have done it again, man. And I say, show some love for Ghanaians, man. We did it. We did it, and I was so happy. And see, we are all happy. Say, we have done this again. Let's move on. And I remember when Jimenez was declaring, say, they have come to declare because there were still some constituencies left, which, according to the polling stations that we heard of there, NPP had won, but the financial coalition were waiting for, you know. And Jimenez says that even if we add all of the remaining total to Bawumia, he won't win. So president-elect is Mahama. So that's where we all were at. We were all very, very excited. And then the rumors were starting, that even when we count all the remaining ballots from the polling stations, that surprisingly, NDC has won 2/3 majority already. That was the prevailing belief and everything. And so Ghana thought, okay, now we're moving on. But all of a sudden, things are stalling. Jimesa had to come back after declaring, say, it is finished. She had to come back and give us another very interesting story. Listen to just a bit of this.
It is important to note that the declarations made by our staff were made under threat, and the Commission considers this as illegal. Those declarations, as well as others that have gone on in other constituencies, will not be upheld by the Commission.
Yeah, so basically this was about the MPs. So as I said earlier before, it was even understood that the 2/3 majority had been won again. Then she came and she said it was finished, but that was, I guess, the presidential. So she comes back again to say the presidential, the parliamentary ones, there's still this, there's still that, there's still this. So that is where we are hanging now. That is where we are hanging now. And I tell people all the time, President Nana-Addo, you are in power. You know what perceptions mean. You know the power of perceptions. Mahama, you've been president before. You also know the power of perceptions. So the perception now, folks, is this, that the NDC won 2/3 of the parliamentary seats. So the perception now is that that is what it seems that the EC wants to thwart. And that is what the government doesn't want to see, the NDC coming with the parliamentary majority. But they say this is the allegation, this is the perception. Now, how do we deal with it? I'm telling you, folks, people who voted know they voted. People who voted waited for the count. And people who voted and waited for the count had the results. So please, under no circumstance should any hanky-panky go on and alter the results of the will of the people. That is very, very dangerous. You know, folks, that is very, very dangerous. Let me tell you something. In this universe, they have something called the universal law. The universal law. And trust me, one thing that we cannot violate ever is the universal law of justice. Sometimes we as human beings think that we have gotten to the stage where we can do everything. We have the power to do everything. The AC may think they have the power, we may think they have the power. But I'm telling you, folks, the laws of the universe are very, 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 very strict and kind at the same time. But one thing it will not let you do is to violate the universal laws of justice. Anyone who ever thought they were violating the universal laws of justice paid for it. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. When you violate the universal laws of justice, you pay for it. And what are the universal laws of justice? I mean, I don't want to get into that. But there has been times, and I'm sure some of you have heard some silly rumors going on some time ago, say, make KSM an atheist. That was simply because I said this, that my view of what God is not the same as the view of God that you guys have in your books, your Quran, your Bible, your whatever books that you have. No, the kind of God that you see is not mine. I see God as integrated into this universe, and this universal energy, universal force that you call God is part of the universe. And I'm telling you, there are natural laws of the universe, and one of the strongest laws of the universe is justice. So please, whatever you do, then maybe I do not attempt to violate the universal law of justice. Because if you do, the universe has a very, very, very interesting way of paying back and claiming things. Folks, me that kind of biblical Bible person, no. But I believe in certain words, whether it's from the Bible, the Quran, from philosophers. I believe in certain words that are very, very, very powerful. And permit me to share just that bit with you today. before I end my show. It's just a universal law. But I'm giving you a quotation that you read. Oh, you read a few quotations. It is. Okay. I'll give you a quotation which explains this universal law. And trust me, if you can go to any book of religion, Hindu, Baha'i, you will see this law in there. It's a universal law. Check this out, folks. It says God chooses the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. It's one of my favorite scriptures, eh? God chooses the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. Foolish does not mean silly or idiot or as no. It's a symbolic representation of the unconventional things. Things you don't expect or even respect. Things that you think that we're there, let us throw it away. That is the symbolic representation that God chooses the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. Who are the wise? The leaders, the powerful, the I'm the EC chairman, you say, me say, those are the wise. And the universal law is that the foolish things of this world are chosen to confound the wise, which simply means that those who think that they have the power so they can do whatever they want are so unwise. And the things that will teach them the lesson are small things. Common sense things. Common sense things. Do you know those who use their thumb to thumb out the powerful government? Powerful president, powerful vice, powerful party. Small people. Some of them have not even stepped a day in classroom. Them thumb printed out the government. This is one example of using the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. And it says God will use the weak things of this world to confound the mighty. This is what I say, sir. Sometimes you guys, so you just think, So let me tell you, some of the foolish things that are confining the wise now is this vote from ordinary Ghanaians. So let's print out this. Let's make a way of change. And we have had that change. And trust me, folks. Media, let me say this. I am not a politician. And I say it with pride that I am not a politician. I don't want to be a politician. Do you know why? Politicians are one-track mind. They think of the conventional way of doing things. They think of business as usual. They don't think of business unusual. The only dream is to be business as usual. And I'm telling you, that will lead us to an unexpected ending. We have been doing business as usual. That's why we are where we are today. So I'm telling the Electoral Commission, I'm telling all of you people that do not go into business as usual to use the conventional things. Because the things that the universe will use to prove to you that you are wrong is really deeply on the way. For example, after the election, what happened? We are the ones with the power. So the first time we enter parliament, it's all about the power we have and the things that must be done, and it's very emphatic. That is the conventional wisdom. Even if you're voted as South Korea, we have a few more days, make sure that this, and it's all still partisan. That is the conventional way. But the little things of this world that the universe uses to confound the wise is a different approach. Charlie, bear with me. If after the election and everything, the parliament was closed down because of so many needless this going to seek Supreme Court interpretation, they are all law. They are the business as usual. If they have started thinking, Charlie, let's quit this business as usual. Let's think common sense. What do we need to do now? Many of the things would not have happened. So I would have thought that even Parliament started in Ukraine. Let's see some semblance of unity, Charlie. Yeah, you know, I would have expected that now. Let's put Ghana back in the focus because we have come from an election and this side has won. So even if you have congratulated them, it shouldn't end with I congratulate you. Let it end in what are we doing now to build this nation? That is the true mark of somebody who wants to build this nation. But this thing of still bickering on party lines and your party you say you
you are going to reduce taxes, you are going to repeal the betting tax, the e-levy, you are going to repeal all these taxes, you are going to reduce the taxes at the port. We wonder where you get the money to implement the Onkukon Ketenkete.
And I agree, Ghanaians voted for resetting. So, Mr. Speaker, let's probably, the only thing we have to do is to take the vote on account and close shop. We should not continue with any business here because, like Honorable Okujeto said, and rightly so, Ghanaians have voted for the resetting agenda of Nkukon Ketenkete. So let's leave it to them and let them inherit all the goodness of what we're trying to do and let them bring in all the badness that they are bringing so that Ghanaians will know the difference. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
They are all things of the wise people. I would have thought the little things that we can do to get things going are little things. So, and yet be a major, but people are too wise now. People have reached certain levels. They don't listen to anything. And Jane, Mesa, I'm hoping you have not got there or you won't get there. What is important now is not grandstanding. What is important now is not to grandstand. What is important now is tell Ghana first. How can we get this country back together? And how do we move this country forward and up? And not grandstanding. Now this stage, you know, we are now going to go and collate to say re-vote to do all this basa 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 basa. If it is that worrying, take it to court. Isn't that the slogan now? Take it to the court. This is nothing new that we haven't experienced in our politics. It happened in 2020. When results were declared and there was some kind of questioning and the kind of debates we're having now as to whether it's legitimate, the thing you said, go to court. You said once it has been declared, once the EC has come out and said it's yeah, and then move on to court. So the question that I ask, why is it that now, dear, we have to do recounting and recollating? Why don't we send it to court? Why are we shifting the goalpost? We are shifting the goalpost because that's what power tells us. That's what business as usual tells us. This is the best way we can do to maintain what we want. But the foolish thing to underground is telling you, Charlie Massa, these things won't work. These things will work. Just let us accept that this is the decision that people have made. Now you go forward. Don't try and thwart the direction of the will of the people. All I'm saying is that it has happened before. It has happened before, and we were against like recount. Yes, Yanko Court. Yanko Court. Folks, you know, I said a few minutes ago that I'm giving a big up to Bawumia because his timely concession helped this country avoid chaos. We were heading for chaos, number one, because we were violating the laws of the universe. We were trampling on the laws of justice from the universe. So that's why I say I salute Bawumia for coming out like that. So great. It helped avert a certain chaotic thing. And now we are all breathing a sigh of relief. The president and the incoming have all met. Say, if you say everything is cool, now you're going to come back and tell us, hey, wait a minute. There's some recounting and recoalition. Folks, let's forget about everything. Let's use common sense. So the foolishness. let's listen to the foolishness of the people. Imagine that people have voted in their various polling stations, Oman declare, yes, NDC, Oman Yaji, Oman Baji, so the NDC has been declared. Let's imagine that then now you come back after recoalition and says, oh, we have done it again, recanted. Actually, it was the NPP that won.
Yeah, Captain, yeah, because it's already. Don't prime person of person live isu. It's a gusu ewa. So just here, ya soldier baby ya blocking kwano. Ya blocking kwano. It's all already. Yeah, you trace the entire da. Entire you. Entiase, we lose on person of Entiase. Entiase da. Don't prime person of Bessie form. We lose you. Yes, you know, I got you as Kama. Yes, you know, I show me now. Yes, if you need Johnny. Every year or more office. Up to now, you baby or more. It will share. I say that I will say you to know. You are watching Kua Ankasa. It will patrol. Mon père bien catché avant. Agnès a nié bessi on s'en va de nous. Enya kitwa. Donc prêt tu es icho. Apoyer ni pas apoyer pour nous. Apoyer ni pas pour nous. Yeah. Emedi agro wa ya ni abre emedi agro wa. Wa obedi kwasi agro de be se ukawa. Ya gugu wa. Yendi agro wow. We driver no aso ko yedia. Anye na ye dey betro. Sawati.
Massa, what kind of chaos do you want to bring into this country? Why? Again, Bio. Honestly, what kind of chaos do you want to bring into this country? Are you not happy that we went through the election and everything has been so smooth and beautiful? The vice conceded at the time. Well, he was a vice, but he was the presidential candidate, conceded at a very, very timely point and helped calm things down and create a beautiful scenario that everybody is now bluffing, said Charlie Ampa. Ghana, we can celebrate the fact that yet democracy has. And after all of that, the foolish things of the world will tell the East, say, Pacho de Moduno, Kronon Koso. This great foundation that you have set, build on it, now Kronon Koso. Do you have to go and bring some strange things which happened some time ago and you say, let's go to court because the things that you are recommending now, then you say they are not done. Please. We are nearing Christmas, and all I want to do is to give a message of peace. All I want to do is to tell Ghanaians that we have so much to celebrate. And one of it is the fact that we have an amazing tolerance, and we have gone through this election very, very, very successfully. And the last thing, with the capital L, capital A, capital S, capital T. The last thing we want to know is that somebody will come and say, and try and reverse something and create chaos that we don't need. Who wants it? Who wants it? So please, take my advice. Whatever happens, all of us are in this country, and whatever happens, we'll all bear the consequences. But let's not rush where fools fear to tread. Let's not rush where fools fear to tread. So this is my final thing, and I'm wrapping up for this episode. And I like this quotation a lot, that God uses the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. In the marketing that we think are foolish, these are crazy. We are the led ones. I am the one with the law background. I am the EC. I'm the president. I'm the vice. I'm the one. God is going to confuse all of you wise people with the foolish things of this earth. The foolish things are the things you don't think about If you say here, you want to use power to exert it. Father, let me say to all of you, as for NPP, Nana-Addo, and your vice, I hope you have learned this lesson. And after Mahama, where Dibida, and you're coming again, I hope you also learned this lesson. Let me tell you, folks, the best thing to do as a leader is to rule with authority and not power. There's a difference. Rule with authority and not power. Authority just means that you understand the rules of the game. Just by your presence, cry, you exude certain respect. You don't force it. Authority is there naturally. You boo, they respect the authority you have. The other position, the opposite of that is power. Rule with power. I'll use the army. And my friend, be a commander-in-chief, let the army do this. Blah, 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 blah. Like we did sometime to 2020, where's we're going? You're using power. No, folks. Use authority. Authority says, let's respect the people, let's respect the laws, let's respect peace and stability. But Mahama, you are not in yet, but you also ruled before. And I know you're tolerant. But keep that in mind. Don't get into office and let the intrigues of power mislead you to thinking that I have the power now. I am the commander-in-chief. I'll use the army and the police the way I want. No. The patriot, take my advice. Rule with authority. Let the respect be earned and not imposed.
And somewhere you could say in any once I didn't share any day he from my ever comment section one more. Like in this video now for instance so intimate and kebi macro.
Sir, the two and now share in Kunya Papa. See her, the beer set. Men how home. Share video na say. Me and J whom the number of fa na contact here. Na your more direction no. Meaning say at the papa bia e be bo ho da we for Ken TV bia no. Ye ka say e ye nokore a ya hwehwe ma hunu nti e na ye bo ho da ru. Enti nyame adom ye ma me nso so no o support Kennedy a compare kwa Japan. Or you business woman. Enti mo ye nyina ye support the business women. Omo support Kennedy Japan. Na omo business no enko so. Enti we dey need kwanso me nsa da me nsayam se open konwa set ato agu fee ana se wadwumam eye E and J home decor we dey fa number na frɛ ye be more direction but you wo own person be ba ha mpo a ya nkasa de bugu ka mu na ye de abrew menim se we are for Ken ne Ghana for no beboa ama ye ma me business no akoso. For any enquiries, with your phone number, no. Yeah, we are for Ken. You say, "Adia, you born the Rubiano." Your papa, Asemba, come and hold us responsible. So, also, you say, "Same if you Royal Gallery, Opekuma, I need to Jemame number, no one in Dinky Town with them 0537 3145 46 0537 314546. Nama namede atuja amano from mama no in Dinky Town day. So, person, yes, say, Woba, no fire na your floor, and I say, yes, say, Woba, no fire BB a fan and nanum in him as Semu, and they may come from Royal Gallery at the amount. Say, from no Mundinky Town day, on best say, Wobano, so they ye BB ewo school, and I send for water at the amuna wunya ewamanane, and I say one cassa water no waton, baby biala will be ala free drivi, baby bia won sebeka, so what Ghana ha, so one manane, baby bia will be a from mamia, wouldn't be dinky town day, now also best say, na wobano, no why you fee papa.
The foundation of every kid's education is important to every parent. That is why R.I.P International School is here to give your kids a solid foundation. The school that cares about its environment and seeks to transform it is one that cares about the education and well-being of its kids. The school has a playing ground, a bus to convey the kids in and out of school, as well as a well-furnished facilities and resources to groom the kids to future leaders. Not forgetting the well-learned team educators that are patient with the kids to ensure understanding is easy. They are located at Amanfrom off the Pokwasi Amasamango. For more information, call 0246 928 031 or 0246 098 067. Be part of a school that leads, learns, evolves, acts, and develops through sound education. Lead International School, the next leaders.
School now battle beyond the Baruko Hononinyo or your Rainbow Montessori International School. Yeah. Rainbow Montessori International School. What you from Kratchi? You could see JHS. The Rainbow Montessori International School from Anna. What been wrong? What's the what the Montessori curriculum in a syllabus? No what the children are the teachers who honor. When you know why a degree holders what the Abutana Badoyan what the trauma from Anadio. Now Rainbow Montessori International School. Wakitaba Funyoman what the trauma from Anati. It's your mama from An not doing boy wrong. Wakita Ultra Modern Science Laboratory, Computer Laboratory, Library and Research Center, Art and Sculpture Laboratory, Hygienic Canteen, now for a clinic. Namoya Nika 1 point there. Rainbow Montessori International School, or your boarding house. Into Fahu Baby Awabiara, Wawa from Batuma School, on Founder Watakwa, Takrade, Elibo, Cape Coast, Accra, Kumasi, one boarding house facilities now, or your modern standard. Now, wash your papa, it's your house master and house mistress. What you want to a boarding house? No, it's your new Robiara, Bambo, another security in sure. It's if Wabo from Anabra, the Eberhu Rainbow Montessori International School, Ewatakwa in Soyem, opposite police station. It is said Ubaba Rainbow Montessori International School. To what you nada? Was an Wabat Shana the Papa, Emanazamsna, what Channel 111. It's a quad you want mission form. Ewa Hantaman Raban, Watakwa Soyem branch, Frayane 0277 100 823. Rainbow Montessori International School. In Moframa Wanda China, one for him. Oshasuaha. It's a Hana Bartan Biara, or the number from a river.